Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep. Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Double Feature Versus. I am Brad.
And I am Anthony.
Yeah, that guy, he's an Anthony impersonator. But how you doing today, Brad? How's it going?
I'm doing good. Especially after this last week, because man, did I totally win out on the Oscars.
Dude, you won out. We got a lot of meat on the bone that we gotta cover before we get into our double feature 2 for today. But yeah, you got it, man. I'm not mad, like Coda won, and Coda is a pretty good movie. Yeah, I'm not mad at the best pick here.
Yeah, I mean, this was the movie that I personally had as my pick for best movie. I can't remember, what did you have as your go-to to win?
I said Coda. If that wins, I'm not mad at it. I'd said Oscar bait, but good Oscar bait was Power of the Dog, and my pick was going to be Drive My Car.
Okay, that's right. Drive My Car was your personal pick.
Yeah. Jane Campion, Best Director. I don't think that's undeserved by any means. She deserves it. Power of the Dog was very well directed. Troy, your boy, Troy Kotsur, Best Supporting Actor.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Ariana DeBose, which I think we talked about this in the episode, threw me off a little bit, but Best Supporting Actress. Not bad.
I remember that one was already announced.
Yeah. Jessica Chastain for Best Actress. That threw me off.
I can see it, though.
No, she's great. I was just thrown off like, oh, okay. I thought everybody was just behind Kristen Stewart as Diana. I didn't think there was like no other shoo-ins, but that was cool.
Yeah, I didn't see The Eyes of Tammy Faye, so I'm not sure how her performance was in that one, but
I didn't check
knowing
it out
Jessica,
yet.
It doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Best original screenplay, though.
Belfast was not.
Belfast.
I'll be honest. I think Belfast was like on the bottom of my list out of all those contenders.
Well, hold up. Let me see. What was it up against? It was
up against Don't Look Up, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, and The Worst Person in the World.
Okay, haven't seen Worst Person, but I've heard good things. Yeah, I put Belfast. Listen, Don't Look Up is ambitious. It really is. As a screenplay, it is ambitious.
Yeah.
Belfast has a little bit more soul to it, so I would put it like above that.
But the fact that it lost out to like King Richard and Licorice Pizza, that's a little odd.
I mean, it won out to it.
Well, yeah.
You said lost out.
Oh, I mean that those movies lost out to Belfast. I had it backwards.
All right, y'all. This is going to be an opposite day episode. Brad is going to, twist his words around.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything I actually mean.
Right. Sian Heder, I hope I'm saying that right, who wrote and directed Coda, won Best Adapted Screenplay.
Oh, yep.
Yep. Well deserved. I'm trying to wait to get to this specific one because we need to talk about something that,
Well, Drive My Car did get Best International Feature Film.
Yep. It got that.
So it did get something for you.
Questlove got Best Documentary Feature. He co-directed the film. I think he co-directed it. Summer of Soul, which I still need to watch, which I heard is a good movie.
Encanto won Best Disney Film.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Best Disney film. That's funny.
Let's be honest. That's all that category is. The last, 5 or 6 years now is Best Disney Film.
That's funny, man. All right, y'all. Now it's time to talk about the main event. Will Smith won Best Actor, which we were expecting. I know you were pulling for Andrew.
I was really pulling for Andrew, but at the same time, I knew it was going to go to Will Smith. There was no denying that fact. Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job with Power of the Dog. Andrew Garfield, I really wanted him to win this for Tick, Tick, Boom because I still think that was a great movie and that was an amazing performance in that.
Andrew has time. I believe Andrew has time.
Oh yeah.
Like as talented as he is, he has time. Trust me.
Assuming that the Oscars continue after,
That brings me to the next the real event. And it's such a shame that this is gonna be stained. Like every time you say, "Oh, Will, he got an Oscar, didn't he?" Yeah, that was the night he smacked Chris Rock.
Yeah. Well, no, it's gonna go the other way around. As people are gonna go, does Will Smith have an Oscar? No, I think he won when he smacked Chris Rock, like for best performance.
That's literally what I just said, folks. You see what I'm saying? You see, this man is competitive. You know what I mean? He's like, no, it's gonna go this way, and let me just say it in a different Bradley way. Yeah. Oh man, what are your thoughts on this? Like I know how I felt when it initially happened, but what are your thoughts looking back on it? That there's been some time.
So now that there has been some time, I think that Chris Rock has officially stated that he did not know about Jada's condition when he made the joke.
Alopecia, yeah.
Yeah, her having alopecia.
I didn't know.
I didn't know either. I didn't even know the stuff with like August and everything until everybody was making the jokes, and I had to look that one up.
You late.
Yeah,
you were late on that friend.
One.
That's where the word entanglement came from.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So with all that going on and everything, like I was finding out all kinds of stuff from this. Mm-hmm. And I knowing that Chris Rock didn't know it was a bad joke. I'm not going to say that it was a good joke, but it wasn't, even with him having the knowledge of her having alopecia and everything like that. If he did,
it was a stupid joke.
It was still just a bad joke. It wasn't anything like it wasn't an attacky joke. It was just a side off joke off of what I think was a better joke, which was the joke of, who was it?
Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz. Like if she loses, he has to lose to Will.
Yeah.
He has to. He can't win if she loses. He ain't gonna live that down back at home.
Right. So she loses. He's pretty much praying that Will Smith wins for, and then it just segued into, Jada, good to see you. Can't wait for G.I. Jane 2. Which I didn't even know what G.I. Jane was. So that was just a joke that completely went over my head.
See, you're the second person to tell me that, because my wife was like, what is G.I. Jane? I'm like, that's the Demi Moore film. She's like, I never saw that. Yeah. I was like, wow. First off, Demi Moore was hot in G.I. Jane. So it's not an insult. In my eyes, it's not an insult. I'm like, okay, G.I. Jane, I get it. She's bald, and, G.I. Jane, Demi Moore was bald. It was a dumb joke, but, it was just like, all right, it felt like Chris Rock was like, let me put this filler in here so I can move on to the next bit. It was a one-off joke.
Well, not only was it a one-off joke, it was an approved joke, because the Oscars. I
thought he went off script. I thought they said he was off script.
Oh no, because I'm pretty sure that if he went off script, the entire thing would be about him going off script on a live thing like the Oscars, where they pretty much fine-tune everything that's happening down to the last like dotting of every I and crossing of every T. Like every joke and everything that the comedians say on stage has to be approved before they can say it, because it's going on live TV.
So let's listen, man, countless people have dissected this, but let's just go by the order of events, because I've watched this clip so many times with my wife, just like in awe, confusion, hilarity, and finally disappointment after much contemplation in my mind. So Chris Rock makes the joke. Will Smith laughs. Jada rolls her eyes. Cut to Chris is like, that wasn't even that bad. And then, he cuts to about to introduce the award. We don't know the type of look. There have been anime drawings. There have been jokes online of what Jada said to Will that made him go into Autobot destroy.
Yeah, complete fit of rage.
Right. Like going from Mr. Smiling, fun loving. Now this is a story, friendly Will Smith to, I got to destroy this guy. I don't know what Jada said to this man. I don't know what she said. I can tell you, as a married man, you can look at the look on your wife's face like you gonna let that go. And cut to Will comes on stage. And if I was watching this live, which I gotta be honest with you, man, I don't watch the Oscars. I'm doing this episode because, we both love film and stuff like that. But, everyone starts clapping like, oh, this is another bit. Like he's in on the bit. All of a sudden, whap. Now, at first I was like, dude, that was fake. There's no way he really smacked him. And he goes back to his seat. Chris Rock goes, Will Smith just smacked me. Like, did Will just smack me? Everyone starts laughing. And, because they think it's a joke. Everyone still thinks it's a joke. Cut to, keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Yeah.
And I go, whoa. What did you see Lupita Nyong'o's face behind him? Like,
oh, that is the best part of it's that look of, I don't like drama, but I like what's going on here.
Is this still a bit or is this real? Like, yeah, man. Look, man, I had to take down my Facebook status because when I initially heard the news, I'm groggy in the morning. I hear about it. I go, I get it. Will has heard all the jokes about his wife. She said many things on Red Table Talk about him not sexually satisfying her. I think she said that on an episode where she was talking with Gwyneth Paltrow, the August Alsina thing. He probably got fed up. I don't condone hitting Chris. After much contemplation about it, I was like, no, that was wrong.
It was out of line.
Yeah, like that was wrong.
Like, I think we kind of briefly mentioned it a little bit before we started recording, but Jim Carrey's kind of response to it pretty much summarizes it pretty blatantly of, if you don't like a joke, you don't resort to violence. You basically, later can go, oh, I didn't, that was out of line. That was bad. You send a tweet about it. You do this.
Right.
And it just kind of passes by because now this is the only thing people are talking about. And
yes, it's a stain on his win. It's a stain.
Yes.
And I like how I like that Jim Carrey did defend him though, because Jim Carrey is a comedian. He's in the game. I'm sure him and Chris Rock have dealt with their hecklers in time. Because listen, dude, I saw it in Chris Rock's face when he says to Will Smith, I'm going to keep your wife's name out of my mouth. You see him for a minute go, boy, I could. Ooh. You see
the look on his face as he's just like, no.
He says, I
and you
could
can
destroy
tell
this man.
That the voice in that earpiece was joy. Chris, back on track. Just go back on track. Don't say anything. Don't do it. Just back on track because you hear him go. So we're here to give out a documentary. Wait, no, we're here to give an award for a documentary. Like he even had to he had to go through his brain and rethink the words that he had to say that were on a cue card.
I know the comedian him was like, boy, I could just destroy this man.
Yeah.
But I'm going to move on. I want to hit it. A big part of me was like, no, Chris, do it.
I would have loved to see Chris do it.
Yeah, because you try to humiliate this man by smacking him, and he's a lesser size than you. He's not Will Smith. He doesn't have the muscles like Will. You try to emasculate this guy, or embarrass him at the most. And I really wanted Chris to go in, but he's a professional though. You got to tip your hat. He was a professional. So cut from all of that. The more I thought about it, I took my status down and I said, dude, that wasn't the right move. That wasn't the right move. What he should have did in my eyes was you go up there, put Chris in a fake headlock, laugh it off and then walk off stage. That would have went perfectly.
Honestly, he shouldn't have even gotten on stage or done anything because guess what? Nobody would have remembered that joke.
Right.
Amy Schumer did an entire set during the Oscars. Nobody remembers her jokes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even know she did a set. I didn't know she was co-hosting until the night of. I said, oh, she was a co-host?
Yeah.
And I was like, her, Wanda Sykes, and Regina Hall. But man, I was like, Regina Hall's joke was worse that she made about Jada and Will. Jada signed off on you, Will, so you come on up here. They kind of making a joke about their open relationship. And I'm like, she didn't get cussed out.
Yeah.
And then cut to, during the break, you got Bradley Cooper, Denzel, Tyler Perry, all consoling Will, the crying, A-list actor, and everything. I'm like, was he the one that just got smacked?
Yeah, it was odd. Like even his speech was a little odd when he won Best Director.
Best Actor. Don't get me on the
Best
speech,
Actor.
man. This dude went on stage and listen. I'm proud. He deserves it. Great and King Richard. But it's the fact that he went and said, you go to Hollywood and you got to deal with people talking crazy about you and your family, and you just got to laugh it off and stuff like that. And then he brought God into it. And I was like, dude, God would have wanted you to apologize to Chris. Like, not just say, I apologize to the Academy for what I did. And he didn't apologize to Chris.
Yeah, that was the strangest thing, is he apologized to the people that had nothing to do with what he had done.
Right. Like, and I get it. You're having a moment of like, in his eyes, clarity. Like, like I'm just like Richard Williams. Like I go crazy for my family. That's fine. But apologize on stage to the man you hit.
Yeah.
Listen, Chris Rock has done some pretty wild, piercing jokes. Out of all the jokes he said about celebrities in his time, that was tamer than tame.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
come on.
It was a joke that I'm willing to bet most people didn't even get. And it made people actually look it up because they were like, wow, Will Smith got that upset about that joke. Okay, I got to look up, because I remember seeing like the search results for everything doing that spike, and like G.I. Jane was up there, Chris Rock was up there, Jada Smith, August, Will Smith, like all of it was like spiking after this event.
I heard I heard all the would-be comebacks on Facebook. Two that was the funniest to me. One was after he got smacked, if he walked off stage, Chris Rock should have said, "You forgot to say welcome to Earth," like from Independence Day. Another one was like, "That's gonna hurt till August."
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that one too. I think my favorite joke, or no, there's two that I've seen that have I love them absolutely. One of them is a picture of Will Smith holding the Oscar. And it just has the caption, "Look, to appease Will Smith, they give him a mini statue of Jada to hold."
Oh,
it's terrible. But look, man, God, I love it.
Social media can be toxic as hell, but it can be funny too.
Oh,
when everyone is in on the joke, it can be funny. I'll say this. So a few days later, Will Smith finally makes the right choice and apologize. Well, was it the next day or was it 2 days later?
It was a couple days later. It wasn't the next day.
A couple days later, that makes it worse. A couple days later, he finally publicly apologizes to Chris Rock on Instagram. like, dude, listen, I understand human beings were flawed. Okay, I get it. But, as someone that's professional and in this business, and, I don't idolize anyone in Hollywood, but this is a man who has always been humble, friendly, handsome, talented, a leading figure in Hollywood that everyone goes, I like to have a beer with him. Mm-hmm. Seems like a fun, cool guy. And this moment was just so uncool, and I listen, I brought race into it. I said, dude, if that was Jimmy Fallon or James Corden, immediately security would have got Will Smith. Like, oh yeah, they would not have let him sit down. They would have told him, you got to go.
It was kind of amazing that they let him stay at all, because the I can't remember what they call themselves, the Academy. They basically have gone back and forth on different statements saying that they asked him to leave and he refused to, they were thinking of asking him to leave. Their statements have changed so much. And it's like, first off, you should have asked him to leave. He shouldn't have been there to receive the Oscar after that, even though I fully think that he deserves it for that performance and everything like that. At the same time, for what he did, if it was any other person, they would have been escorted out. There was the pictures of like after the event happened of
Him
Andrew
partying.
Garfield and people like texting and stuff like that. And I think one of the favorite was a quote, somebody going, yeah, I think I know what he was texting. He was probably messaging his agent going, yeah, Will Smith just smacked Chris Rock on stage and wasn't escorted, so I don't think I won Best Actor.
That's funny, dude. Two. There's two things that this makes that this whole event makes look bad. Will Packer, super successful, talented black producer in Hollywood. This was I think the first Oscars event that was like produced by a successful black producer. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. Can you imagine how he feels? Like, dude, this dude. My first event producing the Oscars, Will Smith smacks Chris Rock. That's what my event is going to be remembered for. Not the fact that Will Smith won Best Actor. Not the fact that Troy Kotsur won Best Supporting Actor, Jane Campion Best Director. It's going to be remembered for that.
Yeah. This is a stain on the Oscars that this isn't going to go away at all.
Listen to me, man. And I was reading comments on YouTube, and one person said, dude, it's like America is okay with this. Like, does America allow this kind of violence at an award ceremony? And at first I was like, man, obviously that person don't live here. But then I looked at it and I said, no, we've had President Biff in office. So we look bad.
Yeah.
The fact that this happened at the Oscars, which is supposed to be this pristine event, I'm like, yeah, we look bad, man.
Mm-hmm.
So now the update on everything is Chris Rock on stage. Man, I want to see him on tour because I know he's going to address this. But he recently has kind of been like, hey, I don't have no words right now. I'm still trying to process it. He didn't press charges. Will Smith has resigned from the Academy, which, listen, I'm not anti Will Smith. The dude's a talented dude. I'm still going to see his films. I'm still going to watch Chris Rock's future stand-ups and movies. But I'm like, that was a game move. Because he probably heard from somebody, yeah, the Academy is thinking about axing you, dude.
Well, the Academy was meeting about it.
Yeah.
Or they had announced that they were meeting about it. And it was like maybe a couple hours after they had first announced that.
Right.
That he was like, I'm dropping out of the Academy.
Yeah, I think that was a game move. In my personal opinion, I think it was like, they're going to ask me. Let me just get ahead of this and resign.
Yeah.
And now you hear some rumors that some Will Smith productions are on hold.
Really?
Like, they put Bad Boys 4 on hold.
I could see him being the reason that, or like his choice to put that kind of stuff on hold, because I'm willing to bet right now he doesn't want to go like into any kind of like press tours or anything for movies or deal with any kind of like production right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to bet that's not so much like these companies are going, oh, we got to put Will Smith on hold. I'm willing to bet that that's Will Smith going, I need to stay home for a month. I can't go out in public. I need to just sit and, not do anything. Don't move. Don't twitch. Don't just stay here, stay still. And hopefully people like move to the next thing soon. Keep
your head low. Don't say nothing. Just kind of just stay to yourself. Listen, man, I told myself, I was talking with my wife. I said, you can't. Now, listen, like I said, nobody's above being human, but I'm like, it's going to be a hard uphill battle to cancel Will Smith.
It's going to be a hard bet. I don't think he's going to get canceled for this, but I can already tell
he already is. It won't last long.
Right.
He was
cancel culture is.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing to get into, but it's not going to stick. It basically cancel culture is what's hot at this minute.
Everyone gets canceled once in a while. You know what I'm saying? It's difference between being canceled in the moment and having a Kevin Spacey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, this isn't a Weinstein situation. This is, every other comedian has gone through cancellation for doing or saying something at some point. It's
right.
But then I think what's really going to hurt him is the fact he attacked a major comedian that's a part of like the big comedian network. So Chris Rock is basically, he's intertwined with almost every comedian out there in some way, because he's in the group with Adam Sandler and all his friends. He's in all the like black comedian tours and everything like that. He has like the Everybody Hates Chris show and everything. So he's very intertwined with everybody that was ever like involved with that. The 30 Rock crew, the SNL crew.
The funniest thing, it wasn't the funniest thing, but it was a funny meme where it said Chris Rock gathering his crew, and it was the whole cast from Grown Ups.
Oh yeah,
him, Spade, Schneider, Sandler, Kevin James, and I thought that was just pretty funny. But yeah, you're right. He has deep ties to the comedian community. Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart. He has deep ties.
Oh, yeah. So if anything, Will Smith just hurt his chances of working on productions with those people. And that really is going to cut, because I don't think that this is going to ruin like, oh, people aren't going to go see, Wild Wild West 2 because of Will Smith.
We wouldn't go see Wild Wild West 2 because it's Wild Wild West 2.
Right. But at the same time, like that might be all he's able to get onto because nobody else wants to touch it. And because every other movie that's out there, he's basically going to be in this weird game of like Frogger, where he's dodging all these other people in Hollywood because they won't want to work with him.
He's dodging them or they're dodging him.
He'll be dodging them to find something that they're not attached to because they wouldn't want to work with him.
I hear you on that, and you could be right, but again, it's Will Smith. Does he need those people?
Look at his back catalog of movies. He's in a lot of comedies with a lot of pretty big names.
Bad Boys, I hear you. I'm sure Martin Lawrence has a good relationship with Chris Rock. Martin Lawrence is a comedian.
Yeah.
Gemini Man, Aladdin, Bright, Suicide Squad. I mean, these are movies.
Bright, you got to keep in mind who else is attached to Bright.
Max Landis.
Yeah.
Well, David Ayer made it. So David Ayer is, kind of like the stronger name attached.
That's true.
He's not canceled.
No.
Focus with Margot Robbie. I don't know, man. I think Will, I hear what you're saying, but comedies. Hitch, Kevin James. Yeah, that was in 2005. And we're not going to stay on this, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to hit him the most is he's losing that entire community of support.
Okay, we'll see. We're just going to have to see here. What else happens in the saga of Will Smith? I know we live in a generation of we need resolution now, but this is real life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like some stuff goes beyond the lifespan of social media. So we'll see in time. We'll see for sure. All right, man. You ready to get into the meat and potatoes?
Yeah, I think about 45 minutes into our podcast, we can start talking about movies again.
Dude, there was a lot of meat on the bone, man. I said to you before we started, I said, we got a lot to cover. That major event. This is going to
be a long one just because of that.
That one event. And then you were like, oh, Coda winning? I'm like, yeah, smart ass. Coda winning. No, the smack.
Coda winning is a big deal to me. I picked that movie and it won. That doesn't normally happen.
Right. All right, man. So we have The Room versus The Disaster Artist. Usually we don't do this around here, but let's go ahead and hit them with the chronological order.
So Disaster Artist first?
No. So we're gonna start off with 2003, The Room. All right. You want me to take the lead?
You take the lead on this one.
How do I say a synopsis of this?
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to take the lead on this one. This one's a hard one to do. Look,
folks, hailed as one of the worst films of all time, if not the worst film of all time, but also strangely beloved. The Room is about Johnny. I think he's a banker. They refer to that in some way. I think he's a banker. He has a fiance named Lisa. Lisa is cheating on him with his best friend, who likes to make it known almost every time he's on screen that he's my best friend. Mark, not Mark, Mark. His name is Mark. So there's a love triangle going on. So, throughout the film, we're dealing with this tension between Johnny and his fiancée, Lisa. Mark, who's conflicted with letting Johnny know that he's sleeping with his fiancée. And that's pretty much the bare bones of how I can, like, in a sensical way, describe to you what this film is. That's the sensical description. The other type of description is long establishing shots, a lot of credits. The credits are fine, but it's the long establishing shots for me with the dun 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 piano music. Cut to Johnny comes in, babe, I'm home, and hug, embrace. In comes this kid out of nowhere who just comes in.
He doesn't knock anytime. Every time that he shows up in a scene, right. And so for people that don't know the room, first off, you need to find a midnight screening of this happening nearby you, dude. And you need to go. Because this is one of the most fun movies to watch with a crowd. That is one of the worst movies to watch alone. I forgot how boring this movie was when I was doing the rewatch for this episode, because I remember it being bad, but I was doing the rewatch and I was like, oh, this is next level bad. Like, this is horrible and terrible to try and watch, because my memories of this
boring. Go ahead.
Yeah, because most of my memories of this are seeing it in like screenings with a crowd of people where it's a sold out theater. And, it's a completely different thing when you have people like yelling at the screen, with the famous quotes, throwing spoons at the screen whenever the famous picture of a spoon shows up, the football scene,
My favorite thing was when Johnny and Lisa head up to the bedroom to have sex in those recycled Skinemax recycled sex scenes that play throughout the entire movie. Then he comes upstairs and someone yells out, "Where's the apple?" He first came into the screen with an apple, and then it just doesn't have the apple anymore. And every time Mark says he's my best friend, someone in the theater goes, "He's your best friend." Dude,
there's so many in jokes about this movie that it's for somebody to like walk in blind for this movie, they'd probably be overwhelmed with how many like jokes there are from the crowd and the audience that just constantly go throughout this movie.
I was a proud friend / future husband when I invited my my wife, then girlfriend, and two of my best friends, Benny and Anwar, to a midnight screening of The Room. Now, all I told them was, I said, look, this is a movie you just do not take seriously. Do not take it seriously. And it was a midnight screening at rest in peace, the Royal Oak Theater in the Main Art Theater in Royal Oak, Michigan. Tommy Wiseau showed up himself, and folks, I'm telling you, he's the real deal.
Oh yeah, he's 100% exactly how you picture him in this movie.
This was no acting in this movie. He is the real deal, with the hair and everything. So he showed up. And I remember we were standing in line, and my wife had her purse in her hand, and the one guy turned around and said, "Oh, hi, miss. Bring any spoons?" Now I catch what he's saying because I know about these screenings. My wife was like, "Oh no," everybody comments on how big my purse is all the time, and the guy looked a little confused and looked at me, and I said, "It's her first time." He says, "Oh, okay." Bring any spoons?
At which point weird. She probably gave you this look of wait, spoons is something what movie are we seeing?
So look, man, we in the theater, right? And we're going through the movie and everything. And, they're laughing. They kind of catch on that, man, this is a stupid movie, but it's funny. At some point, one guy behind me, he went to see this movie, but I have a feeling he didn't know what he was watching. He didn't know what he was getting himself into. So it's like this dude with popcorn in his head. At one point, I turned back to look at him, and he has like this look of utter confoundment on his face. Like 15 minutes in, 20 minutes later, all I hear from behind me is stupid fucking movie. And then I hear someone get up and just leave the theater, and it's him.
Oh, that's great.
Oh man, he didn't know what he was getting himself into, bro. He was just like stupid fucking movie. Like, oh
Yeah,
man.
going to see this movie is an event like going to see like the Rocky Picture Horror Show. Difference being that that's actually a good movie and this is not.
Dude, I remember somebody in a documentary I watched for Troll 2 kind of commenting on how the film like successfully messed everything up. Cinematography, acting, writing. It was almost like it was on purpose. The Room has that kind of magic where it feels like all of this is on purpose and we're the dumb ones for thinking this is bad. It runs a spell on you. Like
it does.
Like you feel like maybe this is a good movie. I'm just not on its wavelength. Like maybe this is a great movie here. I'm just not on its wavelength. Oh man, let me tell you something, man. What was I about to say? Dude, there's scenes in this movie. In fact, there's two scenes in this movie that build up really well. That if they were in another movie, you'd be like, okay, par for the course. The scene where Chris R is on the roof with Denny. The man that plays Chris R actually feels as if he's like giving a good, solid performance as a drug dealer. I'm like, he belongs in another movie.
Yeah,
because he's actually doing his job. Everyone else here is giving bad direction. The one scene. Who was my man? I think his name was Mike, but he was talking to Johnny, and he was like, "Hey man, I got something to tell you." The build up in this scene acts like it would actually belong in a generic comedy. He was like, "Yeah man, I ran into your fiance's mother-in-law, and she was holding me undies." I was like, that actually sounds like a somewhat funny opening, and then all of a sudden, Tommy goes, "That's life, man." I was like,
yeah.
Okay, back to reality. This is not a good movie.
Yeah, anytime that you think that this movie is going in a certain direction, it'll always cut to Tommy's acting as Johnny, and he's completely acting in a different scene from whatever scene that is.
Right.
Like there's a scene that is probably one of my favorite where Mark's telling this like terrible story of, you know, how he's going through depression and all this other stuff. And then, you know, Johnny just starts laughing, goes, "Oh, Mark." And it's like, no, this isn't supposed to be like he's acting in different scenes throughout the movie.
No. Mark says something at one point like, "Hey man, I'd be careful. I once knew a girl. I once know somebody that did something like that, and her boyfriend beat her half to death." That's so funny, Mark.
Oh yeah,
that's like, what? That's not funny, dude. How can we forget the greatest piece of filmmaking ever conceived in cinema? The flower shop scene, bro.
Hi, doggy.
Now I know this was on purpose, because this can't have been unintentional. This had to be intentional. This man walks into the flower shop, and this is all just superb editing. This man walks into the flower shop, and she says, "Who's there?" "It's me." He gets up close to the counter. "Oh, I didn't know it was you." Goes out of scene. "Here's your flowers. Here you go. Keep the change. Thank you. Bye, doggy." "Okay, bye." You go through a span of like probably like what should be like 45 seconds of dialogue in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Also being noted, something that I don't think a lot of people catch when they're watching this, all the dialogue is ADR. All the dialogue was done after the fact and added to the movie in post-production, which nobody can explain still to this day why they did that. Like even the people that were like tasked with doing it didn't understand why they were doing it that way. Apparently there was no issue with the audio that they got from the filming. It was just a decision by Tommy to redo the audio in post for basically the entire movie.
It's The Room, man. It's The Room. This is not, listen, man, this is not some other film we're talking about here. This is The Room. The Room goes by its own rules.
Yeah.
So,
including the fact that it was the first and only film recorded both digitally and on film reel.
if Tommy Wiseau tells you he wants ADR recorded after the film and you loop in the ADR, you loop in the damn ADR.
Yeah.
Okay. It is what it is. This movie is a national treasure, man. Better than any bad Nicolas Cage film we've seen. This movie is the national treasure. Pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I love this movie, man. I just love it. The nonsensical scenes that should mean something, again, in another film. But this is The Room. We hear that Lisa's mother, Claudette, says she's got cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And we never revisit it again.
Yeah, it's never brought up again. It has nothing to do with the plot at all. Yeah.
In one scene, Lisa's talking and there's something going on with her thyroid where there's a big lump right here. And it just never comes back.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about it. We don't mention it. It just happened.
Yeah, I think we need to start segging into the Disaster Artist, because
Why?
The Disaster Artist, being the movie about The Room, is the best way to show everything production wise that makes this movie so great.
Well, hold on, man. Let's, before we move to dinner, let's finish up with lunch. 5 out of 5. What do you got?
In a public setting, 5 out of 5. None. I'd even go as far as a 6 out of 5. And if there was a movie that you could bring me to, there could be 3 screenings, 3 days in a row, I'd go to every single one of them if I had the time for it.
Dude, let me tell you something, man. We saw this publicly. Like I told you, I was with my 2 friends and my wife. Towards the end, I don't think my wife understood the assignment. She took this film a little too literally at some points. When Johnny shoots himself in the head and everybody goes, yeah, she goes, oh, that's sad. I'm like, dude, you missed the assignment. This movie is not real. You don't feel sorry for any of these characters are not real. Don't feel sorry for any of them. Oh, man. All right, man. So 5 out of 5 from you. You said 6 out of 5 in a public setting. Dude, I think even when it's not in public, me watching it by myself, I was still kind of like laughing. It does. Listen, it's nothing compared to when you're watching it with a crew.
Oh, not at all.
It was still very entertaining to me how bad it was.
It is entertaining how bad it is, but it is a very rough watch when you're just watching it by yourself.
Yeah.
Because you start to feel a little bit crazy because you're laughing at things that aren't supposed to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And you're basically having this conversation with yourself during the movie, even though you're by yourself. It's an odd experience.
Like I'm sitting there by myself, like, man, I forgot how bad this was. Sample of dialogue. What did that guy want? I owed him some money. What money? I owed him some money. What money? I think he owed him money, like money.
Yeah. What money, right? Yeah.
What other kind of money is there? And then the mother getting into it, like, what have you got yourself into? I was like, man, I forgot how bad this was. All right, man. We're gonna move on to the TDA on you.
Yeah. So The Disaster Artist is a movie based on the book of the same name, which was written by Greg, I believe.
Did you read it?
I have not read this book.
It's a good book. You should read it.
I really want to read it. Every time it gets brought up, it's like, oh yeah, I need to read this. But I have really still yet to read it. But it is written by Greg, right?
Yeah, it's written by Greg Sestero and co-written by Tom Bissell.
Okay. So it's basically a firsthand account of the entire production of The Room by Greg. So it goes through how he met Tommy, how they eventually came to live in, LA, began kind of trying to get out there as actors and just not working out until Tommy decides to write his own movie, which ends up being The Room. And then the story takes place of just the entire production nightmare that is this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's in a nutshell.
Yeah. Tommy Wiseau played fantastically by James Franco. Greg Sestero played amazingly by his brother, Dave Franco. Then from there, we had Seth Rogen, Alison Brie, Zac Efron playing Chris R., the one person that knew the assignment in the movie originally.
Right. The actor who played Chris R., Dan Janjigian. Yeah, dude, he was such a great, he really shined in that role. He was a great Chris R.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. I want to say this, man. I like Dave Franco. Dave Franco seems like he has like an affable personality every time he's in an interview or on TV. I kind of thought he was just being Dave in this movie, just affable Dave, like the more affable Franco.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But he is, putting him and Greg side by side, he picked up a lot of his mannerisms and little things and the way that he talks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he did a good job in picking up Greg, but at the same time, Dave Franco kind of is Greg more or less in the same kind of nature and attitude and everything.
Everyday guys,
right?
Nice guys, you know what I'm saying? People you see at a bar, you hang out with. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
So it looks like he played himself, but he did actually pick up on Greg's mannerisms and everything. It just comes off so naturally because he did that well at acting at this point. Mm-hmm. And it just also blends in with his own personality pretty well as well. So Seth Rogen, I absolutely loved in this movie.
Shandy Schickler.
Yes, the script supervisor, whose famous line is, well, at some point, hopefully I can see the script, as the script supervisor. That would make my job a little bit easier.
well, script supervisor and first assistant director.
Yes. Yeah. For all the scenes where Tommy was acting, he was the director of the movie.
Right. Yeah, man, dude, I before I saw this movie, I read the book, and when I went into the movie, it really did follow it mostly to a T. This is a well done adaptation of a book about one of the best films of all time.
Yeah,
I liked it, man. I thought this was a pretty solid movie. Franco directing this, which as a director, James Franco, he's had some duds, trust me. But for this one, I felt like he understood the assignment.
Yeah, this was his win in directing a movie.
For sure. And he shot it straight and it came out all right. Dude, I loved him as Tommy, man. I felt like there was a point where everyone knows how to do Tommy in a way, but it comes off like a caricature. Like with him, he really became, I don't want to say became, but he really gave off a great Tommy.
Right. It also helped that he became, I don't know if they're really good friends, but they were basically spending a lot of time with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So he got the mannerisms of Tommy down pretty well due to just spending so much time around him when it came to the prep for this, because Tommy was involved with the making of this movie from an executive producer standpoint, where basically he would go, oh, this is good. I like this, apparently one of Tommy's only complaints about this movie was about the football scene and going, oh, that is not how I play football. That's way bad. Right. To which, if I recall correctly, Greg in the same interview went, no, that was probably one of the most accurate parts of the movie.
That's how Tommy is, man. That's just Tommy. That's Tommy.
Right.
Yeah, I love how this film examines the complicated friendship between Tommy and Greg, because they do have a friendship. You see this with him. You see Greg as a guy that he looks at Tommy like, yeah, I know my friend is a little strange, but I like him. He's cool with me, and he's giving me a shot by putting me in his film, The Room. And I like how there's a little bit of jealousy there, like when Greg starts going out with Amber, played by Alison Brie, and Tommy, starts to feel slighted by this. Like, she's interceding in our lives. I think you could call this kind of like a bromance comedy, just a little bit. I see how it has that feel to it.
Yeah.
But it really paints Tommy as this person that is just very strange.
Completely unhinged is the best way to like describe how he comes off in this movie.
In some scenes you don't like him. In some scenes kind of played for comedy. They even make you cringe a bit, like the scene where he shot the sex scene with Juliette Daniel.
And yeah.
It's like the film isn't asking you to laugh, but it has some like one-liners in the scene. It's like, this is so cringe and just unnecessary. Like, it made you feel bad for her because, this is what she went through on set. Made you just like shake your head at Tommy, like, what's this guy's problem? And
it needs to be said that it's cringe intentionally, though. It's to show like how uncomfortable. Well, I'm saying because for other people, they might not realize that it's supposed to be intentionally cringe. It's supposed to make you go, this is wrong. It's, the movie didn't just come off as cringy in these scenes because of like the acting or anything like that. It's because it was intentionally put forth because that's how the set was.
Right. I mean, come on. If they're listening to this, they know us by now. They know.
Oh yeah.
They know what the film is. They know what this is. They know what the film is. They know what it is. But I got you. Yeah. I mean, with any individual scenes you want to point out that really like spoke to you with this movie?
So one scene that even on this rewatch, it still kind of bothered me that this is how they decided to do it in the movie, was the ending with the first screening and everything like that. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish that they would have given this movie an extra like 10 minutes to show like the first screening failing and the movie failing, and kind of maybe have it end with like that group of college kids going and buying a ticket to see The Room. And then basically that having kick off where its popularity started. Because when this movie first screened, it didn't get the laughter and everything that everybody had. It was a group of college kids went and saw this movie, and it became like this, thing where the entire campus needed to go see this movie because everybody was talking about how bad it was.
Dude, yeah.
And that's where it got its start. Yeah,
and then, you would see this strange billboard across California in LA with, Tommy Wiseau's face, and everybody be like, who is that guy? What's that film about? And it was kind of like you said, college kids, word of mouth. More and more people started talking about it. Famous people started talking about it. Like you see the beginning where everyone, all the famous people, JJ
the Abrams, prologue, yeah.
JJ Abrams, Keegan-Michael Key, everyone's talking about the movie. Yeah. But what did I want to say? I think it ends on a good point. Like, I feel like that's a good thing for it to end at the premiere where, everyone starts laughing and you see it kind of dawn on Tommy's face. Like, oh, they're responding to this. Like, I'm actually getting a response out of people. And he goes, hey, thank you for coming to see my comedy. Like from that point on, even to this day, he says this is a dark comedy, which,
he's definitely, I remember at the beginning, he was like adamant that people weren't understanding his vision, and he's kind of changed focus to this is a dark comedy. Thank you for coming and everything like that. Like he's kind of changed his perspective a bit of just, he managed to have a movie that, when did The Room come out? 2003?
I believe so. Let me confirm this. 2003.
We're here 20 years later, and there's still midnight screenings of this movie going on across the nation.
Oh, come on, man. They're still doing midnight screenings of Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like,
right. But at the same time, this is one of those, we don't even see screenings for last year's winner of the Oscars anymore. This movie still has screenings almost on like I'd say a weekly basis almost.
Really? I didn't know that.
They're still going, even with the pandemic and everything, because I remember there was one that popped up here around Detroit somewhat recently, like last couple months. So I know that they're still going on. It might not be as like prominent as it was before, where it was like a weekly thing, but it's still happening. Because I think that it's estimated that this movie has actually made a profit now off of its like $6 million plus budget just from all these screenings that had happened.
Oh, I know he getting that dough. Hey, if
Oh
you
yeah.
read that book, the one thing you learn about Tommy Wiseau is he was a hustler. He sold underwear.
Oh yeah.
He sold underwear. Yeah, he was a hustler for real. I'm talking like he's dead or something. Look, man, one thing you can say about Tommy Wiseau, this is his swan song. This is his Citizen Kane. This is his Pulp Fiction, his Star Wars, because anything else he made after this, I know he made that one series called The Neighbors. Oh, that was so bad. That wasn't even laughable bad. I tried to give that a chance. I bought the DVD when he came to Main Art Theater, and I tried to see if I could return it, and they told me no. So I just said, all right, I'll just keep this with my room. Yeah, that movie. Oh, but he did make one. I think he made one film, a documentary about the homeless in Hollywood or in America that I heard was pretty good. But yeah, back to the disaster artist. Dude, this kind of runs the gamut of, yeah, I like seeing the making of one of my favorite films, but it's like when doing a double feature versus and putting it against one of my favorite films, it's like it pales. It just pales in comparison.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. Like, if we're putting Disaster Artist, I think is a 5 out of 5 movie. I'm gonna say that right off the bat. Oh yeah,
I say 3.5.
Oh really? Okay.
That's not even just me putting it against the room. I just thought, okay, that's a solid dramatization of the making of a famous movie. It didn't blow me away like that though.
Oh, see, for me, I guess I still put this in high regard because I think the acting is all on point. The story is really good because it does tell the story pretty accurately. There are a couple things that, I wish they could have changed, or a couple things that they did to Hollywood it up to make it an easier to go story.
Yeah.
But I think it tells the tale of this like famous movie coming about pretty well. It's an entertaining movie. They didn't make it a boring documentary or anything like that. They definitely took the source material they had and made it as entertaining as possible, that you're basically laughing along with it the entire ride, just like you would the movie itself. I think it's a great movie, but The Room definitely has a higher presence than the movie about The Room.
Can we just talk how Tommy Wiseau made it all the way to the Golden Globes? Like, this man made it all the way to the Golden Globes, like to the moment where Dave Franco won Best Actor, motion picture, was it comedy or musical? This man grabbed the mic, and then James Franco was like, no, this is I talk. It's my award. I talk. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, only in Hollywood, man. Yeah. Only in Hollywood, bro. He made it to the stage. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I liked it when I saw it at the Main Art Theater. It was kind of symbolic that was the place I saw the Room midnight screening. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a solid movie.
Yeah. It still doesn't stand up to The Room though. The Room is kind of just it's an enigma of just how badly good it is.
The Room is a safe place. I don't know who said this. I don't know if it was Kristen Bell or somebody. Somebody said, man, when I'm feeling down, there is no place safe like The Room. I just put myself in the room and everything is good again. And I'm like, I understand that. That's how I feel about The Office. But some people feel that way about The Room, and I understand that. Yeah, man, The Room is just top A1 stuff, man. Just superb. I when you said we were doing this against a disaster artist, I'm like, dude, I don't even know if there's no competition. I understand what the connecting factor is, but
at that point, I don't know what else we could put The Room up against.
I was low-key thinking Troll 2, But then again, so many people have done that. I don't know. People probably compare Room and Disaster Artist too. But have you seen Troll 2?
I have seen Troll 2.
I think that would have been a good one. Well, Troll 2 had some innovation to it. It has some creativity to its visual effects and stuff. So that's kind of a different animal of worst movie. But yeah.
Troll 2, I think my favorite scene in Troll 2 is gotta be like the Nilbog is just gobbling backwards.
How about my man acting like he's about to take off his belt, give him a whooping? What are you gonna do to me, Daddy? I'm gonna loosen up my belt by 1 notch so I don't get hunger pains. You see the cameras just going to his face. You see these sides? You know what it means? Hospitality. And you don't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. Have you seen the documentary for that movie, Best Worst Movie?
Yes, I have, where they actually go to like the convention for like horror movies and stuff like that. Yeah.
I love that movie. It just shows how a community can just like keep the love of a film going.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that about does it there. Recapping the Oscars, Room versus Disaster Artist. That'll be it. Like, share, and subscribe. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Where else we at?
Google Podcast.
Google Podcast, the whole deal. Y'all take care.